Thank you very much, and thank you for the privilege of addressing you today. The subject that I chose was Cape Independence. Is it a fool's errand, or is it a survival strategy? And love it or hate it, Cape Independence has now firmly been established in the South African political discourse. To some, it's a silly, unobtainable pipe dream, but to others, it's an article of faith which is essential to our very survival. The most recent polling, which was conducted in August last year, found that 68% of Western Cape voters would favour a referendum being held on Cape Independence, with 58% saying that they favoured Cape Independence itself. And every major political party has now felt it necessary to publicly comment on the subject. And as co-founder of the Cape Independence Advocacy Group, and more recently leader of the Referendum Party, I've been intimately involved in the campaign for Cape Independence. And today, I'd briefly like to address 4 questions which should give us all a better understanding of what Cape Independence entails. Is it possible? Is it necessary? Is it desirable? And is there an alternative? So is Cape Independence really possible? Well, the answer, of course, is yes. Almost anything is possible. And when it comes to Cape Independence, the process is relatively simple, which of course is very, very different from saying it will be easy, because it will not. Those who claim Cape Independence isn't possible tend to do so based upon a very formulaic reading of the Constitution, which both totally disregards both political realities and the wider legal universe, which includes international law. And I could lay out for you in great detail the legal argument that explains why they're wrong and how Cape Independence is legally possible. But in doing so, we'd all be missing the point. And this is because most of us have totally underestimated the sheer political magnitude of what the Western Cape people voting legally in a referendum for Cape Independence would mean. There hasn't been a single referendum in the entire democratic era. So I want you for a moment to imagine waking up in South Africa the day after the Western Cape has voted to leave. It's the end of a hard-fought 6-month referendum campaign, and Cape Independence has dominated the news cycles every single day of those 6 months. And now, under the watchful eye of international observers, the IEC has announced the results. The world's press are reporting that the Western Cape has voted to secede from South Africa, and thousands upon thousands of people are now wildly celebrating in the streets. I want you to put yourself in that moment and to imagine how it would feel, and then to tell me that you honestly think, as some would have us believe, that South Africa can simply ignore the entire event and go about its business as if nothing has happened at all. A referendum on Cape Independence is a legal revolution. This is exactly why, when considering the significance of independence referendums, the Supreme Courts of both Canada and the UK have effectively found that in a democracy, you simply cannot ignore their outcomes, because they are the clearly demonstrated democratic will of the people. So is Cape Independence possible? Well, if the Western Cape people vote for Cape Independence in a referendum, it's not just possible. It's not even just likely. Cape Independence will be inevitable.